Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the 212A. It's the tier 9. It's the tier 9 Soviet SPG. It's located on the northeast corner of highway, and it's under the command of Angelina75 OLIMP, and she's got the improved rammer, vents, and gun laying drive. Game on. Yes, I had to check myself there for a second because, of course, we've received two replays from both members of the team. Yes, Angelina sent in this one, and talon1958 sent in one of his own. Okay. Now, just recently we had a new member join What Arty Noobs, and, well, he's new to artillery altogether, and he wanted to learn how to actually control his aiming. And straight away, somebody explained to him how we do it. And as you saw there, Angelina controlled the aim and went straight to the spot she wanted to see. It's very simple. You hold down the control key on the left-hand side. You move the mouse over the counter, over the mini-map to the spot you want to see. And then you right-click and the view goes there straight away. And that way you can quickly aim between two different targets on either side of the map. Now, Angelina's got the 203mm howitzer, capable of 900 alpha, 52mm pen, 10.4 meters on the burst radius, doing 12.5 and 28 seconds of stun. You just saw the Batchat 155-55, which is a French SPG, fire his shot at the enemy. And one has appeared, an M48. She's looking straight away at the spot where he is, nearby where he's located. She looked ahead across, of course, of his path because she expected him to move forward. He didn't move forward though, but she'll send a shell that way anyway. And it lands nearby. She got a critical hit on the tracks, but best of all, she got stun assist when somebody else fired at him and got some damage. So he was hit while stunned, and she picks up 342 hit points of stun assist. And in fact, that's got her communications expert working. There you go. And that means she's getting more crew skill on each shot that she fires. Another enemy has turned up and he's got closer. In fact, no, it's the same enemy, but he's just low on hit points now. Another enemy, a Kampfpanzer EK1, is also fairly close. Oh, he dies before we can shoot. Now we're looking at that EK1. You notice how Angelina scrolled the mouse to move to the EK9. She didn't have to use the control key method. She could just scroll her mouse to move that distance instead. That's perfectly acceptable. And sometimes it's easier to do that. The EK1 is now hiding under the bridge. In fact, that's probably because he's lost so many hit points. It's now in danger of being wiped out by a splash kill. Over on the other side of the battlefield, we've got an FV215B, which is a tier 10 British heavy tank. A reward tank at that. And there is an E75. It's a tier 10 game with tier 9 tanks. And she's about to hit that E75. She wipes him out. Perfect shot. Right into the side of the vehicle, where of course he has weak armor, and he went down. Now the enemy is actually making a mass attack on our cap area at the moment, and it's one of the reasons why Angelina's moved closer to the city, not only to get the protection of her teammates, but also to get away from those guys just in case they try to kill us. And you can see the Batchat 155-55's also moved over this way. Now, we're still up on the enemy at the moment. Up by 3 tanks. She's definitely putting some distance between her and the enemy, though, to make absolutely certain that they don't find her. Okay, there's that FE215B. Rounds out. Direct hit right into the side of him for 374. And she got more stun assist as well. She's now having a quick look back because she's expecting to see the enemy tanks try and make their way up onto the cap area. Right, there's the first one. And it's a chieftain. Remember all the fuss there used to be over trying to get a chieftain into the game, and wargaming would only let them occur on the Chinese server. Now they're here all the time. Uda 16 lined up, rounds out. Well, it fell short, but Angelina still managed to get 211 and some stun assists as well. This game was played on the 18th of June. The subsequent game was on the 19th of June, I believe. And the Uda suddenly appears again. We fire, rounds out, and he gets stunned again, but so did our Kampfpanzer EK1. Shot of Future 4 goes in and kills the Udas just like that. Unfortunately, our Kampfpanzer EK1 did get touched by that shell, which might stop us getting a high caliber. Still 5 tanks up on the enemy now. We've got a red line there, which means we can't shoot at that FB215B. Angelina's opening up the range and the angle to get a better shot at the FB. Should be able to get one from here. There was an enemy. In fact, the chieftain has been located right up in the northwest corner of the map. She plants around in, and that's the end of him. That's her second kill. So still 5 tanks up on the enemy, and there's the Batchat firing again. FB215B is, well, he's not a one-shot yet, but he should be easier to damage from this angle. She can shoot. Just needs to line it up so he walks right into the shell. Rounds out. That was a direct hit. 427 hit points, and he's now a one-shot. And one of our teammates is more than likely going to get a kill on him. And in fact, the kill shot goes to the Vickers 3 in the end. See the hurricane, well, not hurricane, actually, it is a tornado in the distance. This is supposed to be North America. It's a fun fact. There are more tornadoes in Britain than there are in North America. You would... Oh, that's the Batchat claiming that kill. Only 3 Americans remain. Yes, statistically speaking, there are more tornadoes in Britain, but they're smaller, much, much smaller. Whereas the ones in America are absolutely enormous by comparison. They have much bigger ones. Oh, an explosive detonation. And that means now there's only just one enemy left. It's the M53, M55, and our shell arrives just a little fraction of a second too late to get the kill. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was a first-class tank for Angelina75 of OLIMP in the 212A. She managed to get a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, she managed to get 9 in this one. And she got a win rate of 1,784, which is very good. But no medals as such. Let's have a look at team score. Well, we can see the highest damage in this game actually belonged to the chieftain on our own team, who managed to get a Confederate and 4,158 hit points of damage. The second highest damage turned out to be our Foshby, who got 4,053. And the third highest damage was our Vickers 3 with 3,705 hit points of damage. We can see Angelina picked up 1,706 in this game, and she was beaten by only 3 members of the enemy team and 6 members of her own team, which makes her 10th place when it came to damage. But she did exceptionally well. When it came to kills, she was in joint 2nd place because the top scorer was the Vickers 3 with 3 kills. 2 kills went to the Foshby, the Chartier 4, Angelina's 212A, and the Panzernik. They all had 2. And then 1 kill went to the others, and only 3 members of the enemy team actually managed to get kills at all in that game. When it came to base XP, Angelina's in 2nd place because the top scorer was the Vickers 3 with 1,148. 2nd place was Angelina, a tier 9 and a tier 10 game, and she got 1,006. They were the only 2 who managed to get over 1,000 base, with 3rd place going to the Chieftain with 976. Angelina fired 10 rounds, only 10 rounds to get a 1st class. She got 3 direct hits on the enemy, no penetrations, but 10 splash. 1,706 hit points of damage, all of it at more than 300 meters. She damaged 7 of the enemy, killed 2, and she got 2,692 hit points of stun assist off 7 stuns, and that accounted for the 1st class tanker. On a free-to-play account, actually, on this occasion, she's normally premium, managed to get 11,854 credits profit. No bonds, even though it was a tier 10 game, but she did pick up 2,012 experience points because it was a ×2 game, and the game only lasted 8 minutes 35 seconds. But it was a good game, it was a win, and unlike the first game that Angelina submitted in the week, which didn't get a mastery at all, but Angelina did exceptionally well, got 4 kills in, but just could not survive the game. Yes, she did well in this one. She was getting hits and she was getting stun assist. Let's have a look at the 2nd battle by talon1958. Unsurprisingly, Talon has exactly the same equipment as Angelina. She has the improved gun lane drive rammer and vents, which of course make this tank quite lethal. It's the M53 M55, the tier 9 American SPG. It's capable of 900 alpha, and it does 52 millimeters with 10.5 meter burst radius between 12.5 and 28 seconds. Exactly the same values as the one for the 203 millimeter on the 212A. She's tracking a K91P2 who's trying to make his way up, and he managed to get some stun on him. Meanwhile, we see the buffer tiger dive behind us. We're changing position because we're heading towards the 212A. Now we might get side by side with the next shot. We've just got some stun assist off the K91, which is useful. And he's also spotted a few enemy tanks over on the other side of the battlefield. And he's going to have a go at those as well, because the ones on this side are just a little too close for his comfort. He's lined up. Just trying to work out which shot next. Rounds out. And he hits the STB-1 directly behind, or rather he got a near miss, 402 hit points. Almost backed up there into the 212A, but not quite. Now we just heard the rumble of an enemy Arty, and that meant it was firing in this general direction. In fact, the FP215B was the target on our team. We're lined up, we're loaded, but he's changing his mind about which target he wants to go for. Okay. He sees the tortoise and says, I'll have that. Rounds out. And he does get some damage, and it looked like he fired some stun there, but the tortoise managed to get rid of the stun very quickly. Now he's redirecting his attention again. That EBR is running away as fast as he can. Yet another game with tier 10 and tier 9 tanks in it. We've lost sight of that target, but he's still got targets over to the west, so he's going to have a go at them instead. In fact, he sees an Object 430U, but then again changes his mind. Found the T30. Still takes a little while to dial in though. Changes his mind again. And he's got a red line, which means, of course, he can't shoot in that direction at the moment because he's got no valid field of fire. I think he's too close to the rock face. Yes, there you go. Needed to move. Good job he saw the red line. If he had fired, his shell would have impacted the hill right next door to him and might have actually stunned him and possibly even could have done some damage to him as well. What he can see is a manticore going up the center. He's badly damaged, but there's an Object 140 in the center as well. There's a lot of indecision going on here at the moment. Talon's trying to pick which tank is best to fire at, but he's ending up not firing at any. He's been loaded for a few minutes now and not fired a single shot. He's spending a lot of time dialing in on the enemy, but not so much time actually shooting at the enemy. And that's having a dramatic effect upon him. He fires at the STB-1. Only gets a bit of splash. Now he's heading along with the Waffenträger to get further south. I have the feeling he's doing this because the enemy is now making a push from the west side onto the cap area. Okay, head of path, round south. Yes, that was an engine deck hit. 451 hit points. The reload time is 37 point... that's it, 37? No, it's 40.27 seconds. And he's got a reload of 32.09. You can see that in the digital readout. Various sights to use. I tend to use Damocles as my sights because... Oh, and he just got a kill. He just got the Rhino Sorrente. Various sights are available. You can actually go for some fairly basic ones. I just like the information it provides, Damocles. It makes it easier. Plus, of course, it's got a digital readout. Again, changing position because the enemy is getting closer to our guys. And he might need to help our guys. The shell's going to be going fairly flat, though, at the enemy. Let it dial in. Let him walk into it. Unfortunately, he didn't walk into it when that shot was fired. And now the enemy is pushing us along the east side of the map, keeping us away from their cap area. It's almost like they're chasing us. And now the enemy is capping. Scores being even at the moment. And he's not long from loading. The STB-1 is being a bit foolish at the moment because he's very low on hit points. Only a near miss would actually take him out the game. And that's what we might be about to do. He fires in, just misses him. Now he's focusing on where the STB-1 was last seen. And we just saw the tree go down. Somebody sent it down. And in fact, that whoever it was got hit by that shell because it disappeared without an explosion. So we know somebody just knocked the tree down for cover and paid the lesson. You don't knock trees down, it gives away your position. If you do knock a tree down in sight of the enemy, move away from it. Otherwise, you might be there when the shell arrives. And there's the STB-1. He wasn't the one who knocked the tree down, you see. And look, we've got red line again, but we might get a hit on this one. Fires it in. Yeah, takes him out. Nice. Now, the enemy's still pushing down this side of the map. But we ought to make a move over towards these tree line over here because not only can it actually give us a better shot at the enemy on the east side of the map, we can support the tanks on the west side of the map, or rather the ones behind the enemy cap at the moment. You can see that Object 430 is pushing. We're 2 up on the enemy at the moment. You see, I think they made a bit of a mistake when they focused all energy on trying to push our guys on the east side of the map, because some of their guys abandoned them and made their way over to the other side. I take the shot. Oh, he missed out on getting a kill there. Unfortunately, we lost our FV215B183. That's the Death Star. He got taken out by the MBTB. Unfortunately, when we fired, the shell went past the MBTB and landed behind. So the enemy have managed to catch up a couple of tanks, or one tank rather, but they've only got 5 left and we've got 6. There's that MBTB. Quite a dangerous tank it's turned out to be. Now we are loaded according to this. Bounce out. That's a hit. But that's really a good hit, because it tracked the MBTB momentarily, and now he's about to be taken out of the game. And he is taken out. And he's killed by the AMX-13105, who got a second of his 105mm shells into the MBT. Which now means that there's only 3 enemies left. 2 Artys and 1 Object 140. Now, as far as we know, the Object 140 was over the other side of the map. And in fact, actually, he's on the south side, but way over amongst the rocks. And now I think we can go for a shot on him. Unfortunately, oh, the Object 140 is gone, which now means there's only 2 enemy left, both RT. Now, the M53, M55 just killed our Vickers 6x6, or VCS 6x6. We did get some damage there on the Batchat 155-55, but they've still got that M53, M55, and if he knows how to play it, and he knows how to get kills in shotgun mode, he's going to be a dangerous opponent. But we're almost loaded, and Talon does know how to play shotgun if he needs to. No, I think that M53, M55 is somewhere on the south side. No, he's not. He's actually gone north, which means that he's probably trying to shoot in our direction. We can get a shell in. Rounds out. And it wipes him out. So that was bad news for the enemy. Good news for Talon. And that shot there wins the game. Talon is the victor. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was a second-class tanker for talon1958 of OLIMP in the M53, M55. He managed to get a bruise medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 8. And his win rate was 3,095, which is Super Unicum standard. Let's have a look at his team score. Well, he didn't get the highest damage. That went to that MBTB, and he had a major part in that guy being taken down. He got 4,964 hit points of damage, but when he was tracked by Talon, our teammates managed to get the better of him. They all ganged up on him and took him out. 4,270 went to the STB-1 in second place, and in third place, it was the Object 140 on the enemy team with 3,878. Talon got 2,515, which was bested by 3 members of the enemy team and 3 members of his own team, which makes him 7th when it came to damage. When it came to kills, though, we can see he was top scorer on his team, but not the top scorer overall. The MBTB managed 5 kills in that game. 3 kills went to Talon in second place, and 2 kills went to the AMX-13105, the VCS 6x6, and the Waffenträger auf Panzer IV. And on the enemy team, their Object 430U and their Batchat 155-58. And when it came to base XP, we can see Talon's in second place on that one as well. 892 went to him, but the top scorer was the AMX-13105, who got 912. And he also took down that MBTB, the best player on the enemy team. So let's have a look at detail. He fired 14 rounds in this game. Got 4 direct hits on the enemy, no penetrations, but he did get 12 splash. 2,515 hit points of damage, all of it at more than 300 meters. He damaged 7 of the enemy, killed 3, so missed out on getting a Confederate, But he did get 458 hit points, a stun assist off 8 stuns. Not a lot of stun there, but he was doing well. On a premium count, he actually made 59,703 credits profit, including 50,000 for getting a mission completion event. And he also took away 2,676 experience points in that game as well, even though he didn't complete any missions. So he said, I really thought this would be a loss. Well, yeah, they were being chased around the map along the east side, and they gave up their cap area, knowing full well that they could actually plant shells in there if they needed to. But the enemy really wasn't interested in going after our cap when they realized they were about to lose their own. And that's why some of their tanks pulled away from the attack on the east side and actually went around the map, round the far off side, and came all the way back to try and stop our guys seizing their cap. And that was their big mistake. They should have pushed it. They should have kept going down the east side of the map. And if they had, with that MBT in company, they might have actually been able to get at Talon and the 212A, and that might have reduced the enemy's his firepower and allowed the enemy to win. But instead, they allowed Talon to keep pumping shells into the enemy. He'd already got the kill on the STB-1 and the Rhinocerente, but he also now managed to get the kill on the M53, M55 when that guy was discovered. So yes, he benefited because they kept dallying about the attack, and they kept delaying it until eventually Talon got that excellent shot on the MBTB, which actually slowed him down so much, 738 of his hit points, that our teammates were able to get the better of their best player. So yes, it did work out okay in the end for Talon. He got a win. But did he win overall for the Weekend Lion? And the answer is no, of course he didn't win. He thought that he won, but no, he hadn't. Angelina got a first class. So Angelina was in the lead from the second game she played. And yes, a first class and a bruiser beats the second class and a bruiser that Talon got. So unfortunately, it meant that Angelina, for the first week in a while, got her Weekend Lion, because I think Talon got it before then. And so she must have been enjoying her breakfast in bed this morning. And a new week starts from today onwards. So well done to Angelina for her victory. All comes down to this one game on the highway map. And yes, she did well in this one, and she managed to get a good enough victory to stave off Talon. I think if Talon had actually fired a few of those shots where he was waiting to get the perfect shot to fire, he might have actually earned more credits, more bigger mastery or better mastery than he did. But no, he was careful. He wanted to save his shells for really good shots. And in the end, actually, he ended up getting just slightly less when it came to Angelina, and she won the day. But I'm sure Talon won't mind that in the slightest. I hope you enjoyed today's replays. If you did, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.